was fun. That was yesterday. Anyway, let's do this. Yes, the opening part will be edited out of the YouTube upload, so don't worry about that. So happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend, or as good as you could. If you are a U.S. sports fan and follow a small event that happened yesterday, condolences to you if you ended up on the wrong side of things, and congratulations if you ended up on the right, or you just enjoyed a good game. We'll get into the announcements. So 2 folks are out. You got as far as when those are occurring. So if you need them, get them in advance. I am going to be intentionally doing a better job at getting these recordings up on YouTube. I blasted 12 of them up to YouTube on Friday. And so I polluted the GitLab timeline as most recent updated videos with all of us going back to early September. But anyways, that was just fun. The big impactful thing to be aware of, bug SLOs. They used to be driven off of the priority fields. Now it's off of severity. And how those SLOs are defined is available in the link from that documentation. And the last one is the splitting of the common library. That is getting to the point where we're ready to start rolling that out to a whole bunch of analyzers. And so everybody get ready. There's going to be a lot of reviews coming out in order to use the new split approach as opposed to one big framework. All right. With that, I'll get into the agenda. And so hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at this late last week. I know we've been feedback heavy. I know that we've had annual reviews and we're just now coming out of that particular cycle. However, the last time we did quarterly career framework reviews was back in late October. And it's been 3 months, so it's time to do it again. So my commitment to you all is that I keep the what we're judged against locked for a calendar year. Well, it rotates with this one. So the impactful changes for this is that the spreadsheet that we have, it used to be possible to be all the way up to demonstrating excellence or demonstrating strength and everything else. But that is where we entered into a comparison against your peers. That's gone. Those are no longer possible ratings. Either you're consistently doing this, you're inconsistently, or you're not doing it at all. And so that way we're keeping it so that it's just your performance as opposed to making it a comparison. And the other bit of this, and this is something that you'll find back on in an October agenda, is that you're going to get additional feedback on one-on-one templates on a quarterly basis. From me, strengths, areas of improvements, or opportunities, I think is the way that we used it framed it on annual reviews, training, job knowledge, and so forth. All of this is to do twofold. Number one, give you actionable feedback. And the other is to make this more directly map to what we are increasingly using for annual review documentation, just because I'll make it fit what we've been doing, but I want to make it more obvious. And so that's the catalyst for these changes. There is, on the updated template, there is one field where I have deviated from what we have written as a company, and it only impacts staff engineers. There is one particular field that has been the subject of much debate for a year and a half about staff engineers partnering with engineering managers to assign people tasks. I've changed it so that it's more about helping shape requirements in advance of refinement. And so that's where I am deviating from the rest of the company. Any questions on all of this? Okay, silence. I'm interpreting silence as y'all are good. Y'all are ready to do this. So I'm going to schedule these out for a couple of weeks from now, and we'll and we'll see how this new framework or new approach fits, and we'll do it this way for the rest of this year. All right, Lucas, floor is yours, sir.
So I was just sharing this in case anyone misses it, but Julian finished the gap analysis for bandit rule coverage in SemGrep. Worth looking over, even if not working on that initiative. It's kind of interesting stuff to see how one of our tools measures up against SemGrep and how you go about analyzing that data.
I shared this privately, but I'll go ahead and put it here as well. I'm very curious what the false positive rate looks like for SemGrep compared to Bandit. Now, thankfully, SemGrep is a rules engine, so we can augment rules and we can contribute back that way as well. So that's useful. But I was a little surprised by the output of this. So
yeah, one plus, and I'll write this down here in a second too, is that Julian actually wrote rules to cover the gaps. They'll just need metadata. So there'll be a little bit of work to refine, but I asked for clarification to make sure I understood that correctly, as well as that would also prove the feasibility of moving forward with SemGrep as a replacement. But yeah, I think false positives too. I mean, if maybe less than 100% coverage is the right thing because it, really lowers, FP or something like that. But be good to dig into that a little deeper.
there's an axiom from antivirus communities that may be applicable here. And I haven't explicitly said this because I wasn't reminded of it till this morning. And the axiom is that it's better to have a leaky net than a noisy one. And I know that's a bit of a mixed metaphor, but the idea being, at least in AV communities, that if you have a high false positive rate, you're doing one of two things. You're either getting in the way of folks unnecessarily, which is training folks to ignore your tool, or even worse, you're bricking somebody's computer. Either way, you're interrupting their day in a very bad and unnecessary way. So the idea being is it's better to let things through than it is to be noisy or have bad rules. That seems to be the direction that we're heading here within SAST and the larger AST community, which I think is a good maturation step. If I were to, and I'm not trying to spin it, I'm just making a corollary here. It's going to be fascinating to see how all this stuff shapes out. But I'll be quiet. But anyway, I'm just curious, and I'm wondering if that's. I think I'm agreeing with you, but at the same time, I'm also grateful that we can augment more clearly with this. All right. Unless there's anything else. Zach, you've got an interesting one here.
Yep. So this morning I had a meeting with James and Yevgeny about the fuzzing handoff. I was able to ask some questions. We went through how GitLab is fuzzing, how Yevgeny ported fuzz it to a GitLab analyzer. There are the notes for anyone who wants to take a look. And I think he recorded it, which once that is up on YouTube, I will put the link in here.
All right. All right. Does anybody have anything else we want to talk about? Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Let me hit the stop button.